This time he's going to hand it off. That's Escarcega. He's in around the left side. Touchdown. Up at the 20. Now he's coming down the sideline. He gets a block. He's out to the 48. Oh, no, they're going to fake the handoff. And now under heavy pressure and coming in on the sack is going to be Connor Pride. He did that twice last week. He could go all the way. He's at the 30. He's at the 20. He's at the 10. Touchdown, Eduardo Hernandez. Roll to the right. He's being chased. Now he throws the right to a man coming across the field, and it's going to be caught. And now we have a foot race going downfield, but coming in to tackle Jacob Sines. Two receivers to the left, one to the right. And they're going to hand it off to Escarcega. He has a big opening. He's out in the out to the 40-yard line. They're going to roll to the left. He gets past the receiver, throws it deep in the end zone. Touchdown, Dumas Demon, Cole Garcia. And he's going to hand it off to Escarcega. He's looking for something on the right side. Now he breaks through. He's at the 20. He's at the 10. Touchdown, Luis Escarcega from 49 yards out.
Well, that was a great run by Escarcega.
Cole DeMille throws it across the middle. He has James Coley open. He's going to run away from everyone. He'll score. Touchdown, James Coley, Dumas Demon.
Let me tell you, that's about as good as you can draw it up.
And everything's coming left, and it's number 0. He's going to be hit, and I think that's Jonathan Marquez. Torres under center. He pitches it. Here comes, no, he fakes the reverse, but Dumas doesn't go with it, and they tackle him at the 6-yard line. Dumas defends. All right, Mills back to pass, looking, throws across middle, has a receiver open.
Oh, wow.
That could go the distance. Is that James Coley again on the run? It's going to be at the 10. Touchdown, Dumas Demons. That's Johnny Marquez, I believe, number 3.
Yes, it was.
It shows blitz on the left. Here it comes. They're going to pick it up. No, Dumas going to knock the ball down, and I think Dumas going to fall on it.
You're watching Dumas ISD TV.
Welcome to Game 9, District Game 3 of the Coaches Show with head coach Aaron Dunnam. I'm Zane Powers, joined by the head coach of the Dumas Demons, Aaron Dunnam.
Hey Zane, how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good.
Coach, maybe the most complete game that we've seen from the Demons this season, this past Friday. Big win, 56-7 over Pampa.
I think so. All phases.
Yeah.
When you talk about a complete game, I thought we executed really well on offense. Obviously, 56 points. I thought we did a great job. Even though we one touchdown on the board, we really believed that we could have eliminated that as well.
Sure.
And then just we really challenged our kid on certain. I mean, we've been pretty good on special teams, but certain situations where we didn't think we were getting quite what we needed out of our football team on special teams. Which was our punt return, and we really worked on that over the open week, and it was something that we definitely got better at. I mean, I think we had almost 100 yards in return yards, and so those are just hidden yards. Well, that's what we call hidden yards. That's 9 first downs that our offense doesn't have to get, and
Sure.
So it was something also that really set our offense up, and I think it was a large part of getting us in scoring position for our offense to go and do what they do.
Well, let's talk about the offense. 503 yards. You rush for 244. You pass for 259. Rush the ball. I think when you see this number, you're like, okay, good night. You rush 45 times in the game for those 244 yards. I think when you kind of see that, it's balanced yard wise, but definitely when you're running the ball, things are going well.
Sure, and I think you hear me each and every week talk about it, that we're gonna, when you talk about keys to the game, I mean, every single time I'm gonna say we need to be able to establish a run game, and I think that's something that we did. And then just as you mentioned as well, I think when we're balanced, when you can see us balanced on offense, I mean, almost identical run pass yards, that's gonna be a successful night for us, and so really proud of because we needed it. Our kids needed it, our coaching staff needed it, and it's just I think if we can produce like that on offense and have explosive nights like that, I believe we'll be in any game that we play in.
Luis Escarcega is playing like an all-district running back right now.
Yes.
Rushed for 144 again this past Friday. So his last 3 games, he has rushed for 412 28 in those last 3 games.
He has, just that's a guy that we continue to say his name each and every week, and for the right reasons. He's just a kid that's really doing a really good job, and we've talked about him each and every week. Talked about just his ability to prepare for a game, his ability in the off season of what he did and his work ethic, and just I'm really excited for him and just the success that he's having. But as you talk about his success, I mean, you've definitely got to look at an offensive line that's doing a really good job right now. Yeah. We think we challenged our O-line even at halftime. We thought at halftime, we still put points on the board. We thought we were being stalemated at times on the offensive line, and so that was our challenge the second half, is to really drive our feet, start reestablishing line of scrimmage, open holes, and they did exactly that.
Keegan Ireland came in, was the center on Friday night, and it's good when somebody can come in, you don't even realize, well, we got somebody else playing center tonight, just doing his job, getting the ball down there, and as you said, the unit as a whole, I felt really did a good job.
I did too, and Keegan's a kid that was elected as a team captain,
sure,
and rightfully so. Yeah. He's a kid that he wants to win, whatever it takes. Wherever we need him, if we need him at guard, we need him at center. We've even used him on defense from time to time through certain game plans. And so he's a kid that just he'll do anything. He'll do anything that we need him to win. And just he's talented. Somebody just to be able to move to center and all of a sudden have that connection and be able to snap and we don't miss a beat. And so really proud of him and his efforts this year.
Well, if Luis Escarcega is the Lightning, the Thunder would be Eduardo Hernandez, who is nice to see him. It looks like he's feeling a lot better right now. He rushed for 66 yards, but he punched the ball in 3 times for touchdowns.
He did, and he had a nagging injury, still a little nagging, but he's playing through it. Anytime a running back gets an ankle injury, it really bothers him. But he's really fought through it and played pretty tough, and is really starting to feel better. And you could see that from the way that he's running, carrying the football.
Your freshman quarterback had a great game. He was 15 of 21. Seemed very efficient in what he was doing, getting the receivers the ball and letting the receivers do their work. Passed for 259, also threw for 4 touchdowns.
I think that's the big thing that we're talking about here. We say that we got to establish a run game, but anytime when we're balanced, and he brought us the balance. He brought us the 250 yards passing as well. He was, I think, 70% completion, which is really big. I mean, we're not asking him to carry us all, but he's doing his part, and I think he's just really starting to to understand defense is starting to understand our scheme a little bit better, and definitely. When he plays well, our offense runs really well along with it. So
that's right, and I think you've got to. And he would want you to mention the receiving core. You had 5 guys that had multiple catches. JG, Jonathan Gutierrez, I felt like played. Again, he might not have had as many catches as he had against Bushland, but I felt like he played just as good.
Sure.
4 catches for 85. He had a long touchdown. James Coley, 3 catches for 78 and a touchdown. Johnny Marquez, 3 catches, 65 yards, 2 touchdowns. Emanol had a couple catches for 18. Luis caught one out of the backfield, and then Jacob Signs a couple catches for 6 yards.
Definitely see us spreading the football around. I mean, seeing all kinds of different people. 2 of those names that you call are probably primary defensive kids.
Yeah.
But we've got to put kids in position to make plays. And our kids have bought into the mentality of of whatever it takes. I mean, and so we've got to try to get our playmakers with the ball in their hands, and we're being able to do that. When we do, we're pretty effective on the offense side of the football, and putting up the numbers that we need to, and putting our team in a position to win football games.
Well, let's go to the defensive side of the ball, because this was, again, as good as the offense was, the defense may have been better on Friday night. Combined 3rd and 4th down, 2 of 24. That is wild.
Sure.
I mean, getting drives stopped and getting the ball back.
And that's just something that we've really started to do. I mean, that's become the norm, and it's going to have to. If we want to continue to win football games, we think that we have to do that on the defensive side. Our 3rd down and 4th down opportunities are very, very important. We've got to get off the field. We did that. Another thing, that a stat I think they had 3 completions.
Yeah.
And that's something that that we really put a lot of effort in here in the open week. We felt like we've always been in coverage. We felt like we've been where we're supposed to be. Guys aren't wide open. We just didn't think we were playing the ball very well. Yeah. And so that's been an emphasis here. We're starting to chart it in practice. We start with a certain amount of up downs, and the more attempts at playing the football that we get, those come down. And so it's a competition. Our kids are competing, and I think it showed in the game with us being able to get the football out. Two of those 3 completions were on the first drive there, just quick fast screens out there, and then the other one was a touchdown of where we didn't feel like we adjusted very well. And so besides that, I thought our kids were playing the ball really well. And there's a combined effort with that. I think our defensive line and our backers with their pass rush and their ability to rush and hurry the quarterback and create bad balls. And so really excited about our defense, and just our kids rising up to the challenge of playing the ball a little bit more. Our DBs did a really good job of doing that.
Let's talk about some of those kids. Linebacker Aaron Marquez led the team in tackles. He had 9 tackles, also 1 for loss.
Just a young man that's that this is his first opportunity to start. He was a JV football player last year. He's an undersized kid, but a kid that just plays the game really, really hard. I just don't think there's any substitute for just your effort. He gives really good effort, and he's really in a short time has really taken on and studied and understood. He understands our defense really well and understands his fits and our scheme, and just a kid that plays the game really hard.
The guy that we talked a little bit about last week, again, had another great game. Outside linebacker Connor Fry had 4 tackles for loss.
He did. And we put Connor in some coverage situations.
Yeah.
They got an empty a lot where he was man to man on number 2. They tried to attack him.
Yeah.
They tried to attack him 3 times. He did a really good job of being in coverage and defending his man. And then he's a kid that's really starting to get downhill, starting to understand his reads, playing on the line of scrimmage or beyond the line of scrimmage right now. And he he's done a really good job with having 4 tackles for loss, which is big time in our defense.
A couple of your DBs, Andrew Flores, Johnny Marquez, end up with the interceptions.
And that was what's really awesome. And I'm not for sure a lot of people understand this, but we talk about our inexperience as the season started, but we're starting to see how we've turned that into experience.
Yeah, I think so.
We got in the empty formation that they got it, and we got in 4 different coverages. We actually ran a coverage that we probably haven't run maybe in 3 years. We put it on them. And so what that means to our kids is that our understanding of the game is really starting to improve. Yeah. And I'm proud. I'm proud of our kids for doing that, because that was our Achilles heel early in the year on the defense side of the football. It was just our lack of experience. And you can't say that anymore. I think our kids are really comfortable with the system that they're running, and they're doing a really good job of executing. And then you talk about Andrew Flores, and he leads the team in interceptions right now. Yeah. I'm really, really proud of him. That's another kid, that played JV football last year. Here he is, a senior, gets his opportunity to start, and he has taken advantage of every opportunity.
He has. It's been fun to watch. I'm going to let you bang on the drum a little bit for your coaches. We've got to mention this. 4 straight games. You have shut out the opponent in the second half. And, for the second straight week and maybe 3 weeks in a row, I know that you've held people under 100 yards in the second half. I think against Pampa it was like 13 yards or something like that in the second half. The defensive adjustments at halftime have been unbelievable.
Sure. Our coaches do a really good job of that. And it's got to be a two-way street. Our kids have to be able to receive this as well. And so that again goes to talking about our maturity that we're starting to get and the understanding. And I don't think there's a better group of coaches that we have here in Dumas. The attention to detail is really, really good. Coaches taking pride and responsibility in their position group and getting their kids to understand the game plan and just really, making adjustments that are just that fit within our system. Sometimes you could go at half, or even install a game plan at the beginning of that really doesn't fit our kids. And we have a great understanding of our kids. Our coaching staff does, and just their ability to make adjustments and work with our kids at halftime is just pretty impressive. And really, really proud of our staff, and also proud of our kids for being able to receive that and go execute it.
It's amazing.
Yes, sir.
It really is. It's not only has it kept you in some of these games. I mean, I think it's allowed us to get over the hump, and a couple of those. We look back. One of them's El Paso, Austin. We going at halftime, I think, down 7-6.
Mm-hmm.
And second half it felt like not even close.
Sure.
And so, and then obviously on Friday night was just pretty incredible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I want to mention one more thing, and you touched on this earlier. Is a special teams impact. I was looking at our season stats, and it just kind of floored me as I was able to see what we've been able to do. And you mentioned this. When special teams is able to be successful, it gives your offense shorter fields. You don't have to move the ball as far. We've got a kid who we feel like is becoming a really good field goal kicker. You can get into that range. We'll start with punts. Eminal Marquez is averaging somewhere between about 12 yards per punt return, which is really good.
Sure.
I think I looked back, and most years we were somewhere between like 7 and 9. Which is about average for most teams. So he's setting us up in being able to get the ball down the field.
He is, and that was something, that we were really frustrated about in the Randall game. We had opportunities there in that second half. We continued to get 3 and outs. We'd set up our punt return, and we were not very effective in returning those punts and putting our offense in a favorable situation there as time is running out, maybe even get into a field goal range and win the game. We just didn't think we did that because this game is 3 phases. It always will be. There's offense, defense, and then there's special teams. And so we took responsibility too for that. Our coaches and our special teams, and we really start working on that in the open week. Just really putting a major emphasis on it, and because I do believe that. Whether we have tons of return yards, just catching it and not letting it roll, for 15, for 20 yards. That there is 2 to 3 extra first downs that our offense is going to have to get that we can eliminate. We can get that for them, and we did that in the Pampa game. And I think if we'll continue to do that, our return game, whether it be punt return and kickoff return, has been very, very good for us this year. And it's going to have to continue if we want to continue to win and make the adjustments that we need to make.
Well, let's mention that kickoff return, because this is the one that I looked at, and I couldn't believe what I was looking at on the page. Johnny Marquez is averaging close to 30 yards a kickoff return. Eduardo Hernandez is averaging 44 yards a kickoff return. Luis Escarcega is averaging 19 yards a kickoff return. James Coley is averaging 23 yards a kickoff return. Eminal Marquez is averaging 15 yards a kickoff return.
So, you mentioned a bunch of kids. I don't. Definitely we've got some kids back there that I think are pretty explosive and can do some things. But really, it's what's in front of them. Just the scheme and what kids are doing, their ability to block, their ability to buy into that down. That it's not an off down. It's an opportunity for us to possibly go score. And I think our kids are really bought into that, and I think they're still hungry. I think we've been very, very close to returning one, and we haven't got one yet. And so I think our kids are really excited about that opportunity and still striving and working. That we can take one back one day.
Impact,
yes,
big
sir.
Time impact.
Yes, sir.
Well, let's move on to Friday night, senior night here at Demon Stadium. Final scheduled home game. You never know what's going to happen in the playoffs. Some crazy things can happen. But the final game that's guaranteed for your seniors here on the home turf, playing against the Canyon Eagles. They come in 7-1, not in district. I put in district 7-1 overall. Sure. They are looking to clinch their first district title since 2013. Demons, on the other hand, still looking to clinch a share of the title or to have an opportunity to share the title, but also a number one seed in district still in play.
Sure. Really good, really big football game. I mean, there's no doubt about that. Big for us because, there's certain reasons. I mean, it is senior night. That's a special day. I don't know if the seniors have quite looked at that and understood exactly what is taking place here. But this could be the last time that those seniors ever take the field at this stadium, out of this locker room, and so that's special. I mean, that means a lot. There's been a lot invested. We spend a lot of time up here with our kids at this facility, and there's been a lot of memories taken out on that football field. And so that's a special night. And then it's also a special night because we still have things that are lying on this game. We are still, in the fight for at least a share of the district championship. And so that's important. I mean, those are one of our goals when we start the season is to win a district championship. It's important, and to make playoffs. And so all of that is still in front of us, and no doubt that we're playing a really good Canyon football team. They're good. I mean, they're 7-1, and they have that record for a reason. And so it's gonna be a challenge for us. It's gonna be a big football game, but definitely a challenge that we're looking forward to, and definitely a challenge that we're excited to take part in. And it's gonna be a big football game. We're very excited about it.
Yeah, taking a look, we'll look at the district standings, then we'll talk a little bit more about Canyon. Canyon sits on top right now. They're 2-0 coming into the game. Randall's just below them at 2-1. Their bye week's not till next week. They play 10 straight weeks in a row. Us and Hereford right now are tied at 1-1, so we're like a half game behind Randall in the win column, tied in the loss column, and then Pampa's in last at 0-3. Top four teams, Canyon, Randall, Dumas, and Hereford, have all clinched a playoff berth. And all teams have an opportunity still at winning the number one seed in district.
That's neat. Why would you want it any other way?
Wow.
Competitive till the very, very end, and that's something that's always been true about this district. No matter where we are, no matter what teams are playing, it's always extremely competitive, and it is. I mean, that's a great that you're in a fight till the very end, the very last ball game, and everything is still on the line, and so. Excited about it. I mean, there's definitely going to be some teams really fighting for victory because it depends on the district championship. It depends on where you're seated in the playoffs, and so really exciting time of the year.
Well, let's look at Canyon. Defensive side of the ball, what's going to be key tonight for the Demons as they face this Canyon offense?
Very multiple offense. Their new offensive coordinator, Coach Lovren from Stratford, has brought them some really good stuff. I mean, they're doing they're very multiple. They're in and out of heavy sets, unbalanced sets. 3 running backs, 2 running backs, Wildcat style stuff, a lot of pin and pull system, just trying to get you, outnumbered on one side of the football. They're running the football really well right now, and they're just a little bit different Canyon team than you've seen. Now, I mean, they've been working this way in the last couple of years, but previous to that, I mean, a team that would throw the football a lot. They're still. And then coming out of that, when you say, you can't say that they don't throw it. I mean, they get in and out of formations, and then they're also, what they're very effective with right now is off of all of their run games, their play action bootleg, which has been very effective for them. And so it's going to be a challenge for us. I mean, we're going to have to be able to get lined up. We're going to have to be able to, to eliminate the run. We're going to have to slow them down. We're going to have to not allow them to, 3 yards, 5 yards, 4 yards, and keep drives alive, because that's where they've had their success. We look at them and Hereford, and that's what they did. They just kept Hereford's offense off the field, used all the clock, shortened the game, and that was a lot of the reason for success and a lot of the reason why they won the football game. So we can't allow that.
You look at, as you mentioned in the past, where you might look at Canyon and say, okay, we know these guys right here are playmakers, and it might be, 2 or 3 different guys that you're looking at on offense. As you look at what they've done, especially as you said over the last few weeks, it's hard to pinpoint, which guy do we need to key on here because they've used so many different guys.
Sure, and I think they've done a great job of selling their kids with that. I mean, they are spreading the football. It doesn't really matter right now, who's carrying the football, who's blocking, who's doing what. They are spreading it around. They're using a lot of different kids, and and that I think that's why they're being successful right now. So they got a bunch of kids right now that are just bought in, to winning and doing whatever it takes to win. And so we're gonna have to be prepared for that. We're gonna have to be ready, and we're gonna have to take the same mentality back against them defensively as whatever it takes for us to be able to fit in our scheme and be able to defend them and slow them down.
How do you feel like the schedule that you guys have had so far has prepared you for a game like Friday?
I definitely think it's prepared us. I mean, we've played teams, just like Canyon. I mean, we've been stressed. We've been stressed in the run game. We've been stressed, with a play action style offenses, and I definitely think it's going to prepare us. I don't, when you play Lubbock Cooper and you play Estacado and you play some of these teams, that are very explosive on the offensive side of the football, and we've been on the field with them and we've seen that, and we've been able to have to defend that type of stuff, and so I think it'll do nothing but help us and get us prepared for a game like this against Canyon.
I agree. Offensive side of the ball, what's going to be key for the Demons to move the ball and score against the Eagle defense?
Their Canyon's defense is good. Very similar to ours. I mean, a 3-man front. Look a lot like us in many different ways. I think they play really, really hard. And so we're going to have to, I think our success first and foremost, I think we're going to have to match that physicality and that aggressiveness that they bring on defense. They don't blitz a lot. They're pretty sound and where they're supposed to be. And so we're going to have to do a really good job of just getting on guys in whatever run scheme it may be, whether it's with our offensive line or maybe it's, the same thing we talked about that I think Canyon's doing really well right now is, if opportunities for our running backs to block for one another, not worrying about who has the football, but hey, it's my opportunity to block here, and I got to do it. And we got to get guys on people, and then I think we're going to have to effectively be able to run the football, and then very similar to where you've seen our success this year. When we're able to run the football, and Colton is also very comfortable back there and delivering the ball and getting it to our different receivers. I think that's going to have to be our success on offense as well.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, Coach. It's always fun out here at Demon Stadium. You and I can be a little bit biased because we had Suns play last year. I don't know if there was a better atmosphere last year on senior night. I know it's turning cold. It's going to be a little bit chilly, and so it's just going to be fun.
It is. I'm excited about it.
I'm ready. Coach, before we move on, I feel like I want us to mention and talk about someone who helps make everything that we do possible, and that's the guy behind the camera, Raymond Brady. He has been at all of our games. He's the one. You and I don't know how to make all this stuff get on YouTube.
Never.
But we just kind of show up and sit here and chat about things. But Raymond has put all of our pregame stuff on, and then has been there at every single one of the games. And from talking to people who've been around, and I'm sure you've heard the same thing, there is not a better broadcast that happens on Friday night.
There is not. He's done an outstanding job. And so, when I really developed a relationship with Raymond is just, when I took over the head job here, and he's always been involved and looking to help in any way that he can. And so now with him being in our school district and being in charge of, of our technology, I just, he brings just a total different look to our program, to all of our different sports programs, and what he does on the live streaming. You talked about it. There is not a better broadcast. My parents have not, they've been sick and haven't been able to attend as many games live, and they talk about it all the time because my brother's at Emerald High and they're broadcasted too. But they always talk about our broadcast and just the clarity of it, and how they feel like they are at the game, and just the quality of broadcast that we do put out, and that's all done through Raymond, and just very, very, very fortunate to have a guy that is so talented as him on our staff and being able to help us and provide this this great broadcast to our fans that are not only here. We've got fans, Dumas Demon fans all over the country that are watching this broadcast, and very, very thankful that of the efforts that he's put in, and just the dedication to be at games, because it's definitely a commitment. It's a commitment, and very, very thankful for all that he's done for us and really all of Dumas ISD.
Yeah. I can't overstate how much of what he's done for these broadcasts.
Sure.
I mean, it is really awesome. So thank you, Raymond.
And I don't know that you would want me on your team. I could play really good defense. I sometimes airballed layups. But I could play some defense.
Thank you for watching Dumas ISD TV. Be sure to check out these upcoming Dumas ISD events.
Coach, let's go on to quick hits here. When you go to your out-of-town games, what's your favorite post-game meal?
When you hit the playoffs, they get a little bit better because we get a little bit more money.
Right.
And so I don't know. Probably one of my most favorite that I've had is I think one time we got steak bites when we were done, and so those steak bites were really good. You never go wrong with like a Fuddruckers Burger Bar. Those are always really good, and so definitely, Coach Mariscal's in charge of our food. He does a great job of getting that set up, and beggars can't be choosers a lot of the times. A lot of times late at night, just pretty hungry, and we'll take whatever we get, hot or cold.
There you go.
So
I like that, Coach. It is senior night this Friday night. What's the hardest thing as a coach on senior night?
I guess really just to see some finality. We as coaches invest heavily into these kids' lives, and it's not just about football. It's there's so much more, and so I don't like finality. I don't like to see things wind down, or I don't like last opportunities. And so that's probably the biggest thing with me is just seeing how you've invested into these kids for so long, and our relationships will never end. That's something that I want to make sure that we talk to our kids about too, is we've developed a relationship that's going to last a lifetime. I mean, we want to know when they're struggling later in their marriage. We want to know, I want to get a text. I want to get an invite to their weddings. I want to be a part of everything that they do. And so it's never final, but it does change. It does get different, as these seniors move on, and as they stop playing the game of football, and we're going to challenge them to keep playing, keep participating in other sports their entire senior year, because I think it's important that we invest in Dumas. We invest in Dumas ISD. We don't just invest in Dumas football. And so that's probably the toughest part, just seeing these kids possibly walk out onto this field their last time. I don't like last. I don't like that. And so that's probably the biggest thing that about senior night.
Well, Coach, outside of football, what's your favorite sport to watch? And I've got a story about this after you talk about it.
I don't know that I watch much else. I don't know. I don't know that I mean, I like all sports. I like competition. I mean, as much as I really don't like to play golf because I'm not very good at it. But it's fun sometimes on Sunday after church, outside of football, obviously, because I would be up here. But I like to sit and take some naps and watch even golf on Sundays, because I feel like I take a nap and I wake back up and I mean, we're just on another hole and I didn't miss anything, and they're still giving the updates.
Oh, that's good.
I love all. I mean, I watch tennis. I mean, I like to watch tennis. I played tennis in high school. I like to watch, basketball and baseball. I mean, I'm just a sports fanatic, and so I don't know that there's anything to pick after it. I like to watch people on the field of competition.
Let me tell you about a conversation that I heard at my house. We've got kids over at our house almost every night, watching games and doing all kinds of stuff. And so I think it's maybe sometime last year. We were watching a basketball game, and the conversation turned to what would it have been like to be a teammate of Coach Dunnam's, and he was on your basketball team, and anyway, I mean, they were like, "Oh man, we would have won every game." So.
I don't know about that. I played basketball. I played basketball in high school as well. I mean, I was a multi-sport. I played everything that I could. And I don't know that you would want me on your team. I could play really good defense. I sometimes airballed layups. But I could play some defense. I would hustle. I'd get after it. I was an assist machine. I'm just not sure you wanted me taking many shots.
I think the conversation was nobody would score on you, and they would be so pumped up they could run through a wall. So,
in our time of basketball at Wheeler, we played Paducah one time, and if you know Paducah, Paducah went through some times where they were very good at all sports.
Yep.
And I think they were coming to our gym, and our number one. Well, we had two goals going into the game. We knew how talented they were. Number one. They were not going to dunk on us. They were not. So whatever it took for us to not allow them to dunk on us. And then our scoreboard was not going to go to 100.
Okay.
And we met both of those goals.
All right.
Both
there we
of
go.
them. So.
All right. Oh, man, that's good stuff. The big burning question, and this really is a burning question, propane or charcoal on the grill?
Definitely propane.
Yeah.
I love flat grill. I do. I love the Blackstone. That's what I have right now. You can cook anything on it from breakfast all the way to fried rice to steaks to burgers. I really, really like the flat grill and propane.
I'm with you, Coach. Let's look at game predictions for this week. First one that. Maybe in the past hasn't been a great matchup, but I think this year is going to be really good. Borger going to travel up to Perryton.
It'll be a really good game. I think both these teams are hungry for this. With it being at Perryton, I've had to play there multiple times. I think it's a pretty tough place to play. Sure. And I don't know. I mean, I don't. Perryton is going to have to be able to rebound, from playing West Plains, and that. But I'm going to take Perryton because it's at home.
Yeah, I think so. Next one, again, I think a great matchup, a team that's played well all season, but another team that's really kind of starting to find their groove. Lubbock Cooper going to travel up, play at Dick Bivens against Tascosa.
I think this will be a better game than people think it will be because I do think Tascosa has found their stride a little bit. I think they're playing better football right now. I mean, I think they scored their last game. I think they scored the most points they scored all season, and so they're starting to hit. I don't know though. Lubbock Cooper's a really good football team. Been on the field with them. I still just think that Lubbock Cooper has the advantage here, and I take Lubbock Cooper in this one.
I think so. Lubbock Cooper has been consistent.
They have
all season.
They have.
Another big game in Plainview. Plainview with a big opportunity here. They host the Rider Raiders.
Another team, Plainview's been playing really good football. I mean, even the games that they've lost, it's been very close.
It has.
But again, I still believe that I just Riders are a really talented group. Been on the field with them in the past 5 years as well. They're I think they're a team when we talk about Lubbock Cooper and Ryder. I mean they've played many games here. I just think Riders got a little bit better football team. I'd take Ryder in this one.
Next one, good one between these two schools, Amarillo High at Abilene High.
Both. I mean, I'm very familiar with Abilene High. I mean, I spent 5 years at Abilene Cooper, played them every year. Really good friends with their head coach, Mike Fullen, and just the job that he's done. He's been there at Abilene for a long time, was a defense coordinator all before, been leading them as a head coach now here. And then I really know the other guy. So that's my brother. I think Amarillo High's been playing well. I do. I think they're, it's going to be a tough road game. I mean, that's a long trip down to Abilene. Definitely a game that I would never, pick against my brother. I think Amarillo High has really started to play really good football. Definitely a tough road game. It's going to be a challenge, but I'd never pick against my brother. I'm going to take Amarillo High in this one.
I agree, Coach. I think Chad's going to get it. He's going to pull it out down there. These next two games, I don't know anything about all of these teams, but they are incredible district matchups. And I would say as we look at these next two games, these might be the top two games in the whole entire nation.
I would agree.
For high school football. 6A Texas, number 1 Duncanville at number 3 DeSoto. What in the world is that going to be like in DeSoto?
I would like to see some of these athletes. I mean, I can only imagine how many athletes on each side of those team are already, Power 5 Division I commits, and so it's definitely going to be a matchup of some really, really talented kids. A lot of speed on the field. I don't know. I mean, I don't know anything about both of these. I don't know. I mean, obviously good. Number 1 and number 3. I mean, I'm sure both of them are ranked nationally as well. But I'm going to take the number 1 seed, and I take Duncanville in this one.
Yeah, I agree. And the next game is the same thing. I mean, you've got 2 top 10 teams. That's if we look at it, the top one is a Dallas area district. This next one's a Houston area district. You've got number 7 Atascocita at number 2 Galena Park North Shore, and again, this is so we've mentioned the 1, 2, and 3 teams in Class 6A who are probably somewhere in the national rankings of high school football, and then you've got number 7 Atascocita who is also a strong team. Sure, and you mentioned this, but out of these 4 teams, you're going to see probably at least a dozen of these guys playing big college football.
Without a doubt, and just by knowing them, I mean, Galena Park has been they're always, in the final game at Cowboy Stadium, and so definitely with it being at their place as well, I'm going to take Galena Park North Shore for sure in this game. Man,
those 2 games, I was just looking at, I thought there's not many games of teams that we've played that are playing that I feel like we need to talk about. And so I clicked over to the rankings. I thought, let's just see who's playing rankings.
Some big ones. I'd like to be in attendance at some of these.
It's going to be an incredible weekend in DFW and Houston with those games. The other district game that's taking place, we're not going to pick this one, but we can talk about it. Because it's going to decide some things. Sure. Hereford has to win if they want to keep a chance at a district title. Same thing for Randall. If they want a chance at district title, they've got to win. Sure. So Hereford going to travel and play at Randall Friday.
Definitely, I think it's going to be a really good football game. Little surprised on how Randall, the results of last week. Sure. Versus Canyon and Randall. And so, I don't know. I mean, I think this is definitely going to be a really good football game. I really can't control a whole lot about what happens. Yeah. I mean, my focus really is Dumas versus Canyon. And so, but definitely think it'll be a really good football game. It was last year. Last year it was a big surprise, when Hereford came in and knocked them off here late in the season. And so there's definitely going to be some, I think Hereford will be pretty hungry for this football game. And Randall will as well. I mean, I think they're both fighting for a lot still. So really, it's going to be a really good football game.
The good thing for the Demons, as long as we continue to win, the outcome of this game really doesn't affect anything for Dumas as long as we win. Now, flip side of that, it would affect things, if we fall on the losing end. Sure. And so it's one of those games that, okay, we'll kind of pay attention to it a little bit. It could matter. It's going to matter in the standings for definitely for these 2 teams. They come in right now tied in the loss column. And but the result of this game could have some major bearing on what happens next week as well.
It sure could, yes, sir. Looking forward to it. I mean, that seems like that's every week in this district.
Sure. So. Yeah, what's new? Well, Coach, thanks again for joining us today.
Thank you.
Had a lot of fun, and looking forward to an awesome senior night.
I am too, Zane. I sure appreciate you. I always enjoy this time, and really appreciate just the light that you shine on our kids and our program, and very, very thankful to to have a man like you that supports us and believes in us. So really, really appreciate it.
Thanks, Coach.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, you've heard all that you need to hear. We're getting ready for kickoff here at Demon Stadium. Dumas Demons getting ready to take on the Canyon Eagles. It's senior night here in Dumas.
You're watching Dumas ISD TV.